What happened at the appeal court was a class war between those who brought the petition, P2B, Labour Party, PDP, Atiku, APM, all the petitioners, and the common Nigerians who voted for them against the elites, people who think they control the power to determine the person that will be the president or other high positions. That was basically what happened. It was a class war. For those of you who watched the event live, you can feel the triumph in their tone. You can feel the reprimand. You can feel the, hey, how dare you think you can come to power through the common man, through the people that actually owns the power. The judges were basically ranting, saying all sorts of things just to justify their bias. How can a judge say that it wasn't Tinubu that was taken to court that forfeited the money, that it was his bank account that was involved in the crime? How can a learned judge, a so-called learned in quotes, say this? Does it mean he doesn't know the source of the money? So the bank account also committed money laundering because he was moving the money around trying to launder it. It was the bank account that committed all this. It also made the money inside the account to come from narcotics trafficking. Oh, such a pity. There's no need going through all they said, the perversion of justice, because it doesn't matter anymore. The petitioners have declared their intention to appeal the judgment to the Supreme Court. They have 14 days to do that. When judges make it difficult for a litigant to get judgment after an election, they might decide to seek self-help in future because they already know that they won't get judgment in court. How can the court refuse to accept INEC CTCs of election results? Because they are the topmost in hierarchy when you want to prove that you won an election. That's why the petitioners went for INEC CTCs. And according to the law, CTCs are supposed to be the exact replica of the original. Since INEC gave them blank copies and blood copies as original copies, why is the court now turning it around and blaming the petitioners who received the supposed result sheets that was used in conducting the election? Is it the fault of the petitioner that INEC gave them blood copies? It's not their fault. Yes, they have their own copies that they received at the polling units, but there is a reason they went for INEC copies because these are the ones that was used to conduct the election. So this should be acceptable in court. The INEC copy is the only original copy because it is on it that the polling officer will write the results. All the other copies, the police copy, party agent copy, all of them are duplicates. And you know that these duplicates, the ink on them fades over time. That notwithstanding, even if they submitted their own party agent copies, the judges will also find an excuse and throw them away. In this election cycle, a lot of women set themselves apart. We saw what the resident electoral commissioner in Abia State did during the governorship election there. Of recent, we saw what one lady justice did in Kano when she exposed a lawyer that wanted to bribe her. So all this we've seen to the extent that many people started demanding to have a lady as the INEC chairman and in other high positions where men have failed. Compare that to the appeal court judges. The only lady that made the panel that heard this petition was the one that threw insults at the petitioners and the witness. Imagine telling the petitioners if they expected the judges to go to social media to get the evidence in order to award them the win.
Were they expecting the court to go and gather evidence from the street or from the market, or to be persuaded or intimidated by threats on social media?
The kind of language they used is not something you expect from a lawyer, not to talk of judges. What the judges have succeeded in doing with this so-called judgment that they delivered is that they have endorsed and validated criminality in our political system. That means going forward, people will try hard to rig elections because they know to prove that the election was rigged will be very hard in court. That's the precedence they set. Contestants in future elections will need to budget enough money, not for adverts or publicity, but to buy thugs, to snatch ballot boxes, to buy election officials, to buy INEC people, to buy all the way to the courts. Yes, that's basically what they endorse. There's no need to campaign anymore. What are you campaigning for? Many governorship elections are coming up. Who knows what will happen in these elections? Elections are supposed to be free and fair. You go out there in the field, convince people, tell them what you have to offer, and they will vote for you. It was supposed to be simple. But no, after all the promises INEC made that they will upload election result sheets on IREV so that the ward collation officer can verify the results on IREV before starting collation. But all these never happened, and the judges have now endorsed them. So going forward, INEC wouldn't need to upload anything. Yes, that's the precedence. Why should one of the judges ask Labour Party why they contested results in places where they won with landslide? Was he trying to say that rigging is acceptable? That if a candidate receives votes that are not lawful, that it should be allowed or neglected because it is small? If that's what it means, then there's no hope. He couldn't hide his obvious bias. He very much sounded like an APC member or the respondents. He should have just concentrated on writing his judgment instead of going the extra mile of
the judgment has been delivered, but we have not received justice. Luckily, the Constitution has given us the right to go on appeal. This is a court of first instance, to go on appeal to the Supreme Court. And you see, this is a struggle that is not just for our clients, but for the constitution of this country, for the rule of law, for democracy. We were expecting an outcome that will improve, encourage the use of technology to enhance election management, to enhance transparency, to enhance accountability, so that Nigerians will believe in democracy. Nigerians will come out in their masses like they did to vote. We don't want Nigerians to be discouraged in the process. There are certain things, certain principles of law that we know that we need to explore, and we strongly believe that when we get to the Supreme Court will have the opportunity to review a number of things that have been said here today. So we have the instructions of our clients as soon as possible to go to the Supreme Court. So we have, today as you saw in court, we have asked for the records, we have asked for the judgment, we are going to apply for transmission of records because we have a very limited time to push this. So the struggle continues, and as it is said, it is not over until it is over. Thank you.